Fantastic. Well, we've got a full agenda for you guys tonight.
Salute. If you're not in uniform, you can hold your hand.
We have our welcome, our Derby update, our family adventure day, our small and summer and fall preview, some camp cars to talk about, some fundraising, a feature item about restarting our scouting in person, meetings in person, and a question and answer period after that. Of course, please mute your speaker and enter your questions into the chat. We are recording this call as a leadership call. Fantastic. All right.
Fundraising, a feature item about restarting our scouting in person.
And we've got some feedback. I don't know where that's from.
A question and answer period after that. Of course, please mute your speaker.
Okay, very good. Our Pinewood Derby is coming up very soon. This Saturday is our drop-off period. Drop-off period, I believe, is at the Christian Life Church in Long Beach. And the Saturday after that will be our pack races. For those that are entering, the pack races is $20. That includes the patch and or awards, depending on how well you do. The Outlaw race is also available for those adults and those non-scouts or those older scouts that still want to enter a Pinewood Derby into the race. The Outlaw race is $5. You can see this cool patch on the screen there. We've taken the Mandalorian and put wheels on it. Okay, and then 2 weeks after that will be the council-wide Pinewood Derby Championships. The car show you can enter for those fancy cars for $5, and there is also a loop challenge race to see if your car can make it through the loop. You can see the loop on the screen there, and the championship for those winners of the pack races and those winners of the overall open pack race will then go to the championship races. You enter and register on longbeachbsa.org/derby, or click on the events page, the activities page, and go down to the Pinewood Championship Derby. Okay. Family Adventure Day. Let's talk about that. Is this going to be from Bob?
Hey, Bob, are you on the call?
I am. Mark and Eric, I'm getting a horrible echo.
Okay.
We can take it.
Yeah, we'll take it.
All right, Saturday, May 15th. Mark it on your calendars, everyone. Jam-packed Family Adventure Days. All kinds of things to do. You're going to see all parts of Long Beach. We've got a big lineup for you. It starts at 8 o'clock. It's an open kind of event where you can start whenever you need to, and end from around between 2 and 4 p.m. At the Scout Shop, and you can pick up your patch. You can pick up your things from there. I've got some more bullet items there, Mark. All right, $10 per scout. That includes the patch and prizes. There, for those that visited the most locations, there's a special prize for that. You get some saltwater taffy, which is a specialty of the old days back in the back at the pier and the pike. Each family can follow a storyline. This information will be available on longbeachbsa.org, our council's webpage, and you get to see a little bit of history of Long Beach, experience that, as well as see what's out there and get yourself out there in the open. Okay. Summer and fall preview. When you go to our activities web pages, you can find out what's happening coming up. We're probably not going to be doing our Scoutorama this time around. It would be May the first weekend in May, or sorry, June. And we're just not there yet. We're not ready for all that in-person, big crowd type information things going on. Hopefully we'll defer that to later in the year. Webelos weekend. So usually the third weekend in August. Yes, plan on that. You guys can pencil that in on your calendars for those Webelos. That will be Webelos in the summertime. So that means Webelos ones now or Bears right now. They are eligible to go to the Webelos weekend. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They will earn some adventures at that time and be exhausted after the event. They will have so much fun they'll sleep the rest of the week. Okay, Cabaret. Yes, that's a go. October. We should be clear by that time, and we are working to find a location for everybody. I'm sure there will still be COVID protocols. Masks are encouraged. All kinds of masks, Halloween masks. All right. Long Beach Sea Base has a lot of things that we can do right now. In fact, my son's been there all week. Right now, the units can reserve kayaks and canoes. They can take a bike ride. There is meeting space that's there if you actually need a meeting space and your school's not providing it right now, or your host is not providing it right now.
Great.
You can use the grassy area as well.
Halloween masks. All right.
Okay. Also at Seabase, for those individual scouts, they can sign up for Spring Aquatics Camp, although that's been this week. And there was woodworking that's available, Cub Build-Its. There's a Trail to First Class that's being hosted out of the Seabase for those younger Scouts BSA. And Aquatics Summer Camp, get ready for that too. Those are great opportunities to earn some merit badges for those Scouts BSA. Ah, yes. This morning, those Scouts were out there on the marina and they were paddling their hearts out with the kayaks. So my son was out there as well. Okay. Camp Tockwitz. We've got some things that are opening up now in San Bernardino County. Now through next Sunday, April 18th, you can do some tent camping. $10 per person per night. We'll spread you out on the many campground spaces that we have out there. You can see a shot of that lower meadow there. And cabin rentals also for families. 2-night stay, nice accommodations, $150 to $200 per families for those 2 nights. I think there's 12 cabins that are available. Summer camp reservations now open. Check it out on the summer camp webpage on our website. Registered there. It's a full slate of activities for the entire week. There's 4 weeks. Is it 4 or 5 weeks of summer camp?
It's 4, I believe.
4 weeks. All right.
Yep. And Eric, I think I'm going to take over here on this one.
All right.
And you know what I wanted to chime in for everybody is kind of building on what Eric was talking about in terms of going to Camp Tockwitz. But what about camping in general? So we know a lot of Cub Scout packs and Scout troops want to get going. You know, we're in the orange tier now. We hear things are supposedly opening up. So what can troops do? What do we know? And what's still uncertain? Okay, so this is just sort of a general framework of what you can do. You can camp outdoors. We're not limited to the 3 household, 15 person meeting size outdoors, right? So we were under those restrictions in the purple tier, in the red tier, but now we're moving to the orange, right? We're in the orange now, and those limits outdoors are no longer. You can camp outdoors. Now, the regulations depend on where you're going. And I've told a few people that may not sound very helpful because it's sort of wishy-washy, but it really does depend on the county that you're going to, the specific camp regulations. Of course, we know Tockwitz and Seabase, but it really depends on where you're going. We do recommend that you travel and tent with members of the same household. So again, regardless of where you're going, it is still recommended that you travel and tent with members of the same household. No mixing there. We do know that the governor has said the tier system will go away June 15th. Of course, that's predicated on things not getting worse, right? That's what we hear all the time. But we do know that in 2 months, supposedly, the whole tier system is going away. There's an organization called the CCFY, which is the California Collaboration for Youth. It's larger than Scouting. It's as the name would imply, it's a collaboration of all youth serving organizations in the state of California. And they are lobbying persistently to get camps open. And that's what we want, right? The county health departments have a big say in what we're allowed to do. And we do have a unique situation, of course, because Camp Tahquitz, as you all know, is in San Bernardino County, right? And we are located here in Los Angeles County, but also the Long Beach Health Department has its own health department. So it makes things a little bit hairy, but anyway, that's the way it is. We are submitting our intent to operate. What does that mean? Well, we're planning to run summer camp. We are planning to do it. And right now we know, as Eric said, that Tahquitz is open for family camping and cabin rentals. Okay. So, well, of course, sea base, right? Eric mentioned all the activities that you can do at the sea base. Okay, so what's the biggest unknown right now? Well, the biggest unknown is when the state and the county will release their camp standards, which means how to operate. So we know that we're going to be able to run summer camp. June 15th, we should be all clear. But again, the details, right? The devil's in the details. So the details of how you're going to be able to go to camp, what your scout groups will look like, specifically at Camp Tahquitz, this is what we're waiting for from the state. Much like restaurants, I've been making analogies, much like restaurants have been hindered in their capacity indoors and how they can serve their customers. It's not that they don't want to serve their customers, right? We want our camps full of scouts, but we do need the state and the county to let us know what that's supposed to look like. Okay, and then I think there's a little quote on the side that says, common sense infection prevention strategies, right? So that's what that's the only thing the state has said is, we're going to allow you to operate with this common sense. Okay, well, that's open to interpretation, right? So we need a little bit more specifics there. But in any case, if you do have any questions, by the way, Eric mentioned at the very beginning, put those in the chat. We're trying to be as helpful as we can, getting you outdoors and letting you know everything that we know, specifically as it relates to Camp Tahquitz and the sea base. But again, I think the key is you can go to Camp Tahquitz now. You can make those reservations for the weekend, during the week, online. And wherever else you do choose to go, you can go. The regulations are, up to that specific county and location. Okay. I wanted to, sort of piggyback on camping and going out and fundraising, just with a quick note that we do have popcorn in stock. You can check our webpage for what we have. You earn 35% online sales and 50% of what we have in stock. So check it out. And also camp cards, right? We've had significant interest in camp cards just because they were just delivered to our office. It is a $10 card, and Scouts will keep $3.50. Plus they get Amazon gift cards for every level of 25, 50, 75 that they sell. The payments are due the first week of June, right after Memorial Day. And you can return unsold cards by the end of this month, by the end of April 30th. It's a heck of a deal. The $10 card comes right off the top. You save $10 at Smart and Final. So you pay $10 for the card, and then there's dozens of other deals that you get. And pick up already now. So you can contact me. Again, my name is Mark here at the office. You can contact Sandy if you happen to go by the Scout Shop. Sandy has them ready for you. And one final note of encouragement on camp cards is that just last weekend, in fact, last Friday, Troop 117 picked up cards from our office here. And they sold $500 worth of camp cards in front of Big Five in 2 hours. So, it's a great way to earn some money. And those scouts are sitting pretty right now. I think they're going to go out again this weekend to sell some more. So it's a great deal as far as fundraising goes, and it's super easy. I mentioned this already. Moving into the orange tier, and we covered this in last month's call. So Eric mentioned a restarting scouting checklist and so forth. So I'm going to turn it back to Eric, and in fact, I'll just answer one question here in the chat from Janice. Do we need to sign up to sell in front of stores? No. So we don't have any list. You can contact the usually store manager, but you're welcome to sell anywhere you'd like, so long as they let you sell there. So nothing to do on our end. Okay, Eric, back to you.
Yeah, we do encourage you to make contact with the store manager to make sure that that's fine with them. They may have their own personal ways of doing things. Okay, so the big question, how do we resume in-person meetings and our service projects and camping in person, live, and not over a social media device? So National BSA has given us a checklist. You see the little symbol there that says SAFE, S-A-F-E, and they've got that together for you to work with for those den meetings, those troop meetings, those council meetings, those Eagle Scout projects, and any of the camping that's going on. Now, of course, that's from the BSA. It's kind of a high level type of checklist. You actually have to also find out about your local health departments, as what Mark has been saying about the orange tier and what is allowed and what's not allowed, and what guidance they have from a local health department, either LA County or Long Beach Health Department. The area councils, check out our own webpage on COVID and get some advice there. Also, the chartered organizations that you are at. If you want in-person meetings at a church or at a school, you have to find out what they will allow and what they will not allow. Then also check with your scouting families and find out what they're comfortable with, and how large a group that you might want to explore at this time, and what kind of vaccinations you might want to have beforehand. You can look up frequently asked questions at scouting.org/COVID. They've got a lot of information there about how to do camping during COVID, how to do all of that. Okay, there are scouting checklists on that website that I just mentioned. Here's two quick views of that: the planning checklist, so you can plan out your meeting or your event, and then your scouting checklist to kind of go over and make sure you've crossed all the T's and dotted the I's. All right, next. So remember that symbol, SAFE, S-A-F-E. The first point to go over in checking off your in-person event is S, supervision. So conduct your before you gather protocols. There's a list of items that on the checklist to go through to make sure that you've prepared properly for before you've gathered. Then during the gathering or during the event, you want to monitor that social distancing. The young kids are going to be trouble to keep everyone in line. And some of those adults are going to have trouble as well to try to keep them in line with social distancing, sharing different kinds of equipment, making sure things are sanitized, and of course, the sharing of food. A is for assessment. So you want to understand what those guidance principles are from your local and state. Verify that your activity is not prohibited. Make sure that's okay by your local authorities. Engage in your chartered organization and make sure that they have given you permission to do that. It's a goodwill gesture to make sure that they are okay with this, not just to assume that they're okay with it as well. And then verify that the site itself can support what you want to do. Is it large enough? Is there enough social distancing? Is there enough ventilation? Is there sanitation and all the rest of that? Okay, and then after A comes F. F is for fitness and skill. So under that category, you're going to be looking at your health and medical records. More important now than ever, even for just a day event, okay? Have them fill out that A and B form, because it can bring out some of the underlying conditions for parents and for scouts that may have trouble breathing or have special sensitivities and things like that. And do that pre-event screening before or as they're coming into that event itself. Identify those participants that might have that higher risk, and then let them know about what this event is expected to be, and if they're willing to and they're okay with that. Otherwise, give them the option that they don't have to come to that event. And then make sure that your leaders know how to look for these things, how to fill out the forms, how to make sure that they've asked the right questions for that. And then E would be for equipment and environment. That's the physical parts of this thing. Verify that you've got some hand washing stations or hygiene or restrooms available. Use the as you gather protocols. There's a list of that, so you can mark and check off those items to make sure that you're safe and good to go. Make sure that you have personal protective equipment, masks and such, gloves if they're necessary, cleaning materials and all that. So here's that. Oh, go back. Oh, yeah. Okay, so here is that checklist. It's a sample checklist. I encourage all of you to download it off of scouting.org and use it for your events. It's very simple. You have to ask the questions, and this is common for any type of event that you have during COVID. I'm sure you've been asked these questions a lot if you go to certain places. Yes or no, have you been exposed to this? Have you had, have you been out of the country? Those kinds of questions. And then check for symptoms, the actual physical symptoms of coughs and shortness of breath and those kinds of things. And have a checklist available for every person, or have a sign-in sheet for every person that they've acknowledged this checklist and they're good to go. Okay. And then next, oh, that was it. So go back to the screen, previous screen there, Mark, if you could. Okay, so that's what you do. And we'll get used to this as we have more and more events in person, and it'll become part of your second nature to do this as part of the event. So part of that pre-event kind of information you need to do when the people are arriving, this is what you kind of do. You go through that checklist. And make sure that you have the extra little things that are necessary over and above your normal things for an event. Of course, a scout is always prepared to be prepared. So that's what you do. Okay. If you have questions, you can put them in the chat. Check out the scouting.org webpage. This is new information for everybody. I encourage all the troops to get this information out to their people, to their leaders. Okay. Great. Okay. I came across this. I wanted to share this with everybody. Did you know that our National Forest Service and our U.S. National Places offer a free 4th grade pass to all 4th graders, and now this year 5th graders because of COVID, free admission, free registration, free admittance to federal places as part of this Every Kid Outdoors program. You can obtain the paper voucher when you register on the webpage. It covers the entrance fee and any amendment. That means like, your whole car gets in for free. The amenity fees, if there's any special like charges for that from any Fish and Wildlife Services or any place that's a national park. And national park has a large definition, and it includes places like the Nixon Library. It includes places like Cabrillo Beach. It includes places like Yosemite even. Okay, so it admits the pass's owner. Or their parents, basically, and the company, or the pass owner, which is the 4th grader or the 5th grader, and their passengers in a private vehicle, or the pass owner, which is the 4th grader and up to 3 adults, for places that charge per person. So this is great stuff, and this is a way to get the kids outdoors, and it's a great way to get the families outdoors as well. So This is free stuff, everybody. It's not transferable. There's the, you could just Google every kid outdoors and you'll be able to go there and register. And they've got a long list of places in California that you can go to. Probably in excess of 50 places in California that you can actually go for free. This is good from September of the year of the fourth grader through August of the following year for that fourth grader and now the fifth grader. So if you're a fifth grader, it's good till the end of August and end of the summer, basically. Okay, so you're good to the end of the summer for fourth and fifth graders.
Hey, Eric, I'm reading here in the chat from PAC 75 that they created a Google version form of that checklist.
All right, that's excellent. You guys can make your own local checklist for that. I know that the C-Base has their own, and they've been asking questions, the same questions of every person that participates at C-Base. Fantastic. Okay, as you know, our council office and shop are open, and they will be open all month, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. You can order, if you don't want to go into the shop, you can order by phone. You can have it available curbside. Drive through the parking lot, and you can pick it up right then and there. Okay, you can do your curbside orders by contacting Sandy. Okay, now it's time for questions. We'll open that up to anybody who has special things, maybe a special information that somebody wants to share as well. So PAC 75 is offered anybody that they could have a copy of that Google form that they created for COVID as a check for the checklist. Just email them at lbpac75@gmail.com. All right. And you can also do your raise the hand feature too if you wanted to say something about that. All right. For everybody, has everybody gone back to in person yet? Probably not. Has anyone tried it yet as an in-person troop meeting or PAC meeting? Or how about a court of honor? Anybody? Want to tell us your experience? I know our troop had a court of honor a couple of weeks ago, and we held it in the field, and was able to pass out the merit badges and the advancements for our troop that way. So it was fairly short and sweet. I mean, we didn't have any meal to go along with it, but it was kind of nice to see people in person.
Troop 21 has offered the same type of thing. With our court of honors, we were able to safely social distance.
Excellent. Did you do it the same way out in a parking lot or out in the open?
Out in the open, everything was 6 feet apart, and everybody was built in with their family unit.
Yes, they stuck with their family unit. That's fantastic. And as you know, probably, or maybe you don't know, for those scout leaders, you are eligible for COVID vaccinations. You can obtain a letter from our council for those registered leaders, and you can go out there right now and reserve your time for those vaccinations.
Yeah, and I'll just chime in here on those letters,
Yeah.
Eric. You know, as regulations are opening up for everybody, if you still don't meet any of those qualifications for any reason, just email us here at the office, and we can send you back a letter, an approval letter. Also wanted to point out in the chat, you know, 371 is meeting, as Eric said. 206, Brian pointed out they did their Arrow of Light ceremony at the El Dorado Archery Range. Not sure, Brian, you maybe chime in here if you needed to make a reservation with the park on that first. I'm assuming you did. And Tracy says that Troop 74 is meeting in person and did have a court of honor. So that's fantastic news. Brian says that the archery club hosted at El Dorado. And of course, he is a teacher and instructor there. So very small shift of patrols.
Ah. Okay.
But
Yeah,
great
that's
to
Mark.
hear about all these meetings.
inside information. Tom?
Hi, guys. Yeah, Troop 65, we also had our Court of Honor, kind of like in family pods. And it was successful. It was a great time to get out. And we're also going to Anza Borrego in a couple of weekends. So we'll have that camping experience again. Just waiting to get outdoors, you know. And as far as meeting in person,
Yeah, you know what?
yeah, as far as meeting in person, we're probably looking at that soon. But we have the protocols in place. We have already been using those, you know, with the forms and temperature checks and everything that we've been doing. So we're being as safe as we can, but having fun too.
Hey, Tom,
Yeah.
maybe you can
You know what?
speak.
Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Tom, maybe you can speak to what the regulations were at Anza Borrego, because I know that other troops I've seen are headed down to Joshua Tree. And I'm just saying this for the group. If, you know, packs and troops out there are looking for ideas on where to go, I do know that people have been going to Joshua Tree.
Yes, we went to Joshua Tree a few weekends ago. Again, we follow the family pod cohort model where families cook together, tent together. So we're separate in that manner. And we were fortunate to get, if you're familiar with the Joshua Tree, the Indian Cove, which is we had 3 actually group sites to our troop. So we had an enormous space, more space than we would need as a full troop. So, you know, we had a great time, and, you know, it's doable. Things are doable as long as you follow whatever regulations like you talked about of the location of the county and things like that. We've had no problems. Rangers were happy to see us out there, happy to see us, you know, doing scout things. So, you know, I think the world is ready as long as we follow the rules that are set, you know, by BSA, counties, locations like we've stated.
Absolutely. And if you're following the family pod kind of format, there's a lot of campgrounds that are available, have lots of open space. They can either register individually as a family, and then you guys can be all down there at the same time and place. And that's a way to work it out too. I did get a question in the chat about Baloo training for those packs. Yes, if you're gonna have an outing, especially an overnighter with the packs, yeah, you want those Baloo trained people. So I will talk to our training chair, Michael Devine, to crank up this training for Baloo. We're going to need something there for you guys. So thank you for making that suggestion. We'll definitely do that. I wanted to chime in here because when Tom was talking about having the campouts, I'm going, you know what, as COVID starts allowing some of this stuff, the protocols, this is a fabulous recruiting tool actually to use for those kids that are just aching to get out and do something. You know what? Join Scouts, and we have a program for you to get out into the open and you know, see that sun again. But they can have some real fun if you've got a program for them to go to.
And there was a question here from Gene, just on the training note, Eric. I think that ILOS, which is Introduction to Outdoor Leader Skills, and Baloo, which is the Cub Scout equivalent, Basic Adult Leader Outdoor Orientation, I believe those were combined a year or 2 back into one training that we were offering both at the same time. So, so yes, I do know that Michael has that in mind to offer soon. So dates are forthcoming. Back to the meetings and so forth. Brian was asking the group if anybody knows if Long Beach Unified or any other school districts plan to stay closed to outside groups throughout the school year. So if anybody has any insight there, that would be great. I would presume that that we probably don't have access unless you might know the particular administrators or personnel at the school. So it might vary by school location.
Right.
Janice, let's see, Janice says that schools are limiting guests and volunteers. So that would somewhat line up with my suspicion on probably more on the side of a lack of outside groups attending. And then Jen, yeah, so we do have, speaking of training, we do have Cub Wow coming up. So Jen, why don't you just announce that?
Sure. If you can throw me a share screen, I can share a graphic too.
Sure, you bet.
Awesome. Cub Wow is basically a, oh, here we go. One sec. So here you go. So Cub Wow is basically a half-day training program that's coming up in May. It's basically for our leaders now who are looking to kind of enhance their skills, or maybe there's a new leader that just came on board, kind of an interim before we do a bigger training session in the fall. But you can pick 3 classes that speak to your involvement. So the training is for all levels of leaders and volunteers. So Cub Masters, Den leaders, parents who are literally just popping in and out, maybe to help out, Nova counselors, Den chiefs, you name it. There are 18 different classes for you to pick from. So you can pick 3 that really speak to your involvement and things that you want to learn. The registration is open now at longbeachbsa.org/cubwow. It's a program that we're doing in conjunction with the Verdugo Hills Council. So it's not just the same people talking at you. If you've been to other training sessions, it is a nice mix of both our council and their council. We are still on the hunt for a couple more instructors. So if you are interested in any of these classes are about 40 minutes long with a 10-minute Q&A. So they're easy to run and easy to attend. And we're looking for everybody to go ahead and sign up now, because if there is a popular class, we will run it multiple times. And that way, when we are figuring out our final schedule next week, we'll make sure that those popular classes are offered at several different sessions. Otherwise, if you wait to sign up, you might find some of your favorite classes are already filled up. So if you are interested in volunteering and teaching one of these classes or co-teaching with someone else, you do not have to be a registered leader. You are a parent and you are very familiar with cooking with cubs, we would love to have you. And if you are interested in any of the classes, please go ahead, sign up, like I said, at longbeach.org/cub-wow. And we will enjoy a few hours together on Saturday, May 1st.
Fantastic. Our April and May is starting to fill up. I'm excited. Okay, I will also plug the Wood Badge. Wood Badge is coming up for all those leaders that are looking to be trainers. Or looking to be, we're training the leaders. And so Wood Badge is in September and October, 2 weekends. And we will fill your brain full of all kinds of leadership information that you can use for your packs, your troops, and even your business or your work that you're in. So signups are now open for that. All right, I think we're going to take it home now, and we shall invite you to our next roundtable. Our next roundtable is the second Thursday of the month, as always, Thursday, May 13th, 7 p.m. We are still doing these by Zoom. When we start breaking this loose and we are able to go back in person, we will still probably have an online component for you that if you can't make it to the roundtable in person, we'll still have that virtual connection for you guys. Okay. So thank you all for coming. Be good scouts, be good scouters, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everyone. Good night. Have a good night.